guys, Ashlane here, coming at you today, playing a little thought exercise. What if I was the lead of the Clash team over at Supercell? So before we get into it, I want to let you guys know that you guys picked this episode today. I tweet out sometimes, maybe about once a week, and ask you what episode you want to see today. So today, 200 people voted in about 2 hours, and 63% of you guys wanted to see this episode, so that's what we will see. So I put together a lot of thoughts, pretending that I was the lead of the Clash team. And the way we're going to structure this episode, I think, is to go over some ground rules, and then there'll be 3 parts of the episode. 1 going over the current issues, 2 going over the first update that I would launch as the lead of the Clash team, and 3 would be my next big update introducing a brand new feature to the game. Now, before I do that, I did want to mention this first replay you're going to see is me game testing my favorite bowler walk strategy. It's bowler walk into queen walk into mass Valkyrie attack. This is a 3-star, but it's not against a maxed out base. But a lot of people are asking me for bowler strategy. I'm working hard in the game to come up with something, really refined that I can share with you guys. So enjoy this replay. It starts off with a bowler walk, and then one bowler got away from me. It kind of messed up the raid a little bit, but one thing I would advocate is using rage on the perimeter. Anyway, let's get back to the thought exercise while you guys check out this raid. So the ground rules. I'm going to keep the following things in mind when discussing what I do for the game. Number 1 is I know our developer team is small, so I'm not going to overdo things and try to put tons and tons of content into these proposed updates in 2016. I want to try to play within the parameters that are real life. Number 2, I'm not going to mention anything that has been ruled out already. If you guys don't know, the Clash team has put out a bunch of things that they will never ever add into the game. I'll include a list of those things in the description below from the forums. And number 3, I'm not going to speak for my audience, this YouTube audience, but rather I'm going to try to keep in mind the millions of players who don't even watch YouTube or aren't passionate enough to seek out outside information. They just log on every day, raid here and there, and then that's it, because that is the majority of the Clash world. So it's important to keep their interests in mind as well. So as I said, there are 3 parts of the episode. Let's hop into part number 1, where we'll review the 6 issues in the game right now. So this game is amazing, right? Let me obviously put that out there first. And 1, it's amazing, and 2, the Clash team already does a great job, and the real Clash team lead, Tommy, also does a great job. So I'm not trying to take anybody's job or anything. I'm just trying to find a cool thought exercise to voice my feelings on where this game could be going, because let's face it, we're hitting a little bit of a lull right now, and there are some issues which we'll go over in just a second, and I have my ideas about how they can be addressed and how this game can be even more popular than it was in the past. There's really no reason that a game's popularity has to be linear, so there's no reason that the popularity couldn't grow after dipping a little bit. So number 1 issue in the game to me right now, if I was the lead of the team, I would gather everybody around and we'd be holding a meeting. So I'd say, guys, okay, the number 1 issue I've identified right now is the average play session time. Now, there's a lot to get into here, so bear with me while we talk about this one. The average play session time is causing the most problems in the game right now. It's making the game feel a little bit stale in some clans that aren't super active. Why is that the case? Well, let's think about it. In the Town Hall 11, the December update, they changed the whole landscape of the game in terms of no Town Hall snipes. Now you have to protect your loot, and also the average playtime went really down because you have to cook heavier troops now to attack people. There seems to be less collector raids. There seems to be less viability of cheaper armies. There's just a lot of issues that go into there being a lower, even on my lower end accounts, my Town Hall 9 account, and my higher end accounts, I have to cook up an army that takes about an hour and a half to cook, and then I log in, I raid once, and then I'm off. Sure, we still help our clanmates planning out war attacks and stuff like that, but overall, I play the game less just like almost everybody else out there. So we have to fix that. That's the number 1 problem. And obviously, people are playing less, so they're chatting less. So the clan chats feel a little bit stale as well, and that leads people to feel like the game is declining in popularity. Even if it may not be, people might just be logging in less frequently. So let's move on to issue number 2. Issue number 2 is communication. We need to do a better job, we as in the Supercell, because I'm the head of the team, in communicating with the fan base. There's going to be a lot of new content coming that I'm going to propose in these next updates, which I'll talk about in a second, and we're going to need to communicate with the fan base, with the community, with the player base every step of the way. We've gotten a lot better at that with the blog. We have the blog that we now release where we give about a paragraph or so on every single change we make, so at least the community knows why we make those changes. We need to do better, and I have some ideas on how to do better coming up in just a second. Number 3 issue is cheating across the game. So a lot of you guys might know my opinion already on cheating, but we'll go ahead and get to it in just a bit. That is issue number 3. Issue number 4 is balancing at Town Hall 10 and 11, mainly the Valk, the Witch, the nerfs and buff cycle, and also battle timers. So I have a plan for those as well. Issue number 5 is the lack of new game systems and the fresh feelings, kind of like the Clan War update. That was a fresh feeling in the game. It brought a lot of new players in. You'd see your friend planning something on their phone and you'd say, hey, what is that? I want to try that out. So we need something new and fresh in the game, and I have a great idea to share with you guys about that. And issue number 6 is endgame. The trophy system is a bit flawed, so obviously if you're spending 18 hours a day, maybe you can compete to be one of the top 200 players in the world, maybe even 24 hours a day, so we'll get to that as well. So the next update, the first update, I have 2 updates planned to share with everybody. The first one is a little bit smaller, the second one is a brand new game feature. So the first update is going to be addressing 5 of the 6 issues we just talked about. It's going to be a little bit smaller, and the second one will be a little bit bigger. So issue number 1, it's going to be all about the average play session. So the challenge here is not to devalue all the time and money people have already spent on the game in the last 3+ years, right? So if we simply revamp the entire system and say, okay, troops now, take 10 minutes to cook up a full army, well then all the loot that was previously gained and spent throughout the last, like I said, 3, almost 4 years now is worth nothing. So we can't do that. So we have to be a little bit more creative here. So my idea is to boost barracks with resources rather than gems. So that might sound a little strange and a little weird and maybe even stupid at first, but when you think about it, you're investing a little bit and you're recouping, and recouping takes time, and it will strongly affect the public, the non-YouTube watchers, players out there. So this doesn't have to be the only solution, or it might not even be the solution, but it's just an idea, just brainstorming here. If you boost your barracks with a little bit of resources, not a lot, but just it depends on your town hall level. Kind of like how matchmaking takes resources to find a match, and that matchmaking cost goes up and up and up the higher you are in town hall levels. Well, I think the boost barracks cost would also go up and up and up the higher you are in town hall levels as well, and you could recoup some of that boost cost just on the league bonus, so it would further encourage high level town hall players to play in higher level leagues instead of having everybody milking down below, because that's become a little bit of a problem as well. So investing your resources while boosting would cause 2 things to happen. Number 1 is mentally you'd want to make back those resources and more. That would take time, ergo your play time would actually increase. And obviously if you're boosting, you're pretty much committing to an hour of play time as well. So those 2 things combined would make for longer play sessions. What about some other less drastic ideas? Well, how can we make cheap armies useful again? That is a question that deserves an answer, and deserves some real pondering too. So a few ideas that I'll just throw out there are, number 1, we can make single player maps refreshed daily. And single player maps are certainly easy enough that you can use cheap armies on, and you can find new fun strategies. And it would be nice if there were new single player maps. So new single player content would actually be good and would also increase your average play time, increase your chance of chatting with your clanmates, and increase the vitality of your clan and the whole player base as well. Number 2, you could use quests. Now, Mastermind on the forums, I'll go ahead and link that in the info below, but Mastermind has about 100 quest ideas in his thread. A lot of them are really good, so you guys can go ahead and look through those, but we already have the daily 5-star get a loot bonus type thing. I think that could be expanded expanded upon, give us more reasons to log in every single day. If you look at MMOs, a lot of them have dailies and weeklies. These are quests that you keep track of, and it makes people log on, gives them another reason to log on every day and accomplish something. And the last thing is, we could reduce troop cook times, and that could be built into the clan perk system. That would give a twofold solution, right? So more clan perks are always a good thing, and they could be built into levels 1 through 10 already. It wouldn't be additional clan perk levels. Instead, level 5 clan would now get a 10% reduction on troop cook times. Now, that's not going to fix anything, but it will be a step in the right direction. So let's go ahead and move on to number 2. So average play session, number 1, the solution there in my world is going to be the boost barracks with resources rather than gems. Number 2, communication. My number 1 idea here would be for a monthly hangout with a developer or a community spokesperson. Because I'm the Clash team lead, hey, I'll go ahead and volunteer, guys. But if one of you guys who have been here a little bit longer than me wants to step up, go ahead and do so. I think we need a community spokesperson to really answer questions on a one-on-one, more interactive basis, and it could be moderated, and there's a lot of ways you could do it. It might not even have to be video communication. It could be as simple as something like a Reddit interactive AMA type thing, which they've actually done in the past. It's been a couple years now, but they've done it before. I would love to have them do that again. Issue number 3 that we'll be addressing in this first update is cheating. So in order to prep us for the big update, we have to fix cheating in the game, modding namely, and I have a solution for that, and I'll outline the solution and then talk about it briefly after that. So the solution is going to be a blanket warning that's going to be sent to every single player in the game, in-game, and number 2, it's also going to be announced by us in our blog on the forums that we are cutting down or cracking down on cheating. So that will be the first step. The second step will be 30-day bans to anybody who does cheat after that. We'll start with the most high-profile cheating clans. If we have to start somewhere, if we can get blanket cheating down across the board, we'll go ahead and issue bans across the entire game that way. So why is it going to be that? Why not just ban people right off the bat, and why not lifetime bans? Well, it can't be too punitive in my opinion here. I'm trying to look at it objectively. First of all, we don't want to lifetime ban probably millions or thousands at least of players. I mean, as the Clash team lead, I want to be cognitive here that we don't want to lose a quarter of our player base. Okay, it's not a quarter, but we don't want to lose 10% of our most passionate player base in the game here. And there's probably some people out there who never wanted to use, modding or cheating, but they saw their friends doing it, or they wanted to get into a clan where everybody peer pressured them to do it, and they saw that Supercell wasn't enforcing it, so they just picked it up and started doing it to try to not be the worst player in the clan. So we can't really fault them too much. Of course, we can fault them and we can enforce it, but I think the onus is on us to fix the ways. Think of someone who's been cheating on their taxes for years and years, and the government doesn't crack down on them. Well, more and more people are going to start cheating on their taxes because they see more and more people getting the advantage from it. And it's at a certain point, at some point, you can't really start faulting the people. I mean, not everybody's going to have the moral platitude to always do the right thing when nobody is enforcing it. So that's my plan to fix it. There's going to be a blanket warning system, then we're going to start with 30-day bans, and then after that, lifetime bans. Hopefully that will be enough of a deterrent to stop people from doing it afterwards. Number 4, balancing. So nothing on the bowler yet. As you saw early in this episode, I'm finding uses for the bowler. I'm having a good time with it. I think we need to learn the troop more, and think about it. It's only been 15 or so days when I'm recording this since the update. So really, people are just unlocking bowler who didn't gem it up, and then it's still only level 1, so we need to allow much more time before we make any drastic changes to the bowler. It's still a cool troop, so we're going to go ahead and not touch that. I think we need to do a slight hit point nerf to the Valkyrie, as much as it pains me to say so, because look at all these replays that I'm showing you right now. They're all 30 Valkyrie 3-stars. We can't have just one troop spam absolutely dominating the game. Not only is it really super effective and thoughtless, but it's also taking the spotlight away from every other troop in the game that we've worked so hard on. So there needs to be a slight hit point nerf maybe to the Valk. the witch skelly trap triggering type thing, or the skeleton hit point. I think we need to reinstitute the triggering of traps by skeletons from witches. Either that, or we need to go ahead and install the previous hit point level on the skeletons to make them viable again, because now the witches are the new Valkyries in that nobody's using them in the high-end game. So the last thing on balancing is the new timer system. So think about it. In about a year or two, I'm going to go ahead and advocate that we release Town Hall 12. So Town Hall 12 is going to need more time because there's going to be new defenses, blah, 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 right? So right now, let's go ahead and institute a new timer. Right now, Town Hall 1 through 9 is perfect at 3 minutes. But Town Hall 10 could really use an extra 15 to 30 seconds. Town Hall 11, the same deal. So my idea is going to be right now, my proposition for you guys is going to be to add 15 seconds to Town Hall 10, and then add another 15 seconds to Town Hall 11. And then when Town Hall 12 comes out, we can add an additional 15 seconds. So that will make things perfectly balanced. It will give players enough time to use more hybrid strategies, which is what we want them to do. So I love the idea of staggering 15 seconds starting at Town Hall 10 to the additional 3 minutes. And you know what, guys? I'm going kind of long here on this episode. I'm going to make this a 2-part episode, and we'll put the big update in the next episode. And for today, we'll just finish off the additional features on the small update. So let's go ahead and continue here. The new stuff feeling. Okay, this is a big one. So far in this small update, we have a little bit of balancing. We're going to address cheating. We're going to be more communicative. And we're going to go ahead and either add single-player maps or boost barracks with resources rather than gems, something to increase the average play session. But you know what? All those things don't sound to me like they're going to take a heck of a lot of time, and I know you guys are hard workers, so you can pull it off here. So this is going to be a pretty big one. This will be the main attribute of our first update, and it's going to be addressing the new stuff feeling, and it's going to be arranged wars. Okay, so Arranged Wars will take a little bit of time, but we have a couple months before this update hits. And, you know, if you guys can't do Arranged Wars, speaking to the developers here, then at least give us a veto option on wars that will fix some of the matchups, and it will make it easier for us to actually match against clans that we want to arrange war with. And that reject or that veto on a clan war option can have a 48-hour refresh, so you can only use it once per war match. And also, maybe some new clan perks thrown in there, and maybe a new leaderboard system. As far as clan wars, there's no leaderboards right now for clan wars. It'd be nice to have one of those as well. And new clan perks, well, we have clan perk 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Maybe we could add something small in there just to give people more reason to continue to grind on those clan levels. There's a lot of level 10 and even 11 clans out there right now. But back to the Arranged Wars, just to finish up here. The Arranged Wars are only going to affect a hardcore minority of our audience, so I am totally aware of that. But let's face it, everything else in this update is going to make quality of life go way up for all the rest of the masses. So we need to feed something to our more hardcore audience, keep them active, and when they're active, then hopefully there'll be a trickle-down effect, and everybody will be happy. So Arranged Wars will be pretty simple. We're not going to overcomplicate things. It's going to be that teams, there'll be a new tab in the war section, and it will be invite a team to war. And all you have to do is enter in that team's clan tag ID. And then that clan leader, as long as they're not on prep day or battle day or in a war right now, will receive a message in their inbox, and they open it up, and then comes the war prep screen. And if they choose to accept the war, the person who sent the invitation will dictate how many people they have in their war. You'll be able to see their side of the war map already selected, and then what you can do is fill in your side of the war map. You can opt people in and out, and then a final confirmation goes to the other person to make sure everything's okay with them. They click accept, and then you have a war. And that will be really fun. You can do 10 versus 10s that way, and you can do, 20 versus 20s. You can do all kinds of cool scrims. It's just a really cool idea. And even though there's probably only, 5% of clans right now, or maybe even less, actually engage in arranged clan wars that they do on their own, I think if you add this feature in-game, you'll start seeing a lot more people take advantage of it. A lot of clans with 20 people in them might split into clans of 10 and 10 just to have cool civil wars. So guys, those are my ideas for part 1 of this episode. Part 2 will be covering the second big update, which will be a tournament system. So guys, I'm curious to hear what you think of my ideas. Thank you so much for listening till the end. If you did listen till the end, let me know. I want to give you props in the comments below. So guys, thanks so much for listening, and as always, take care.